even after becoming so famous and powerful in everything, rather than just becoming successful yourself. So that's very nice. So like all the citizens feel like, so much loved. Wow, what a prince we have. He's so well mannered. He's so gentle. He's so respectful to his parents. He's such a devotee. He's always chanting Lord Hari's names. They are like they have the best thing that they could ever have expected. So now slowly, now like they are conquering a lot of kingdoms. They're getting a lot of wealth, and now they are investing in infrastructure development in their kingdom. They want the kingdom to flourish. So they, whatever money they have made, they use it to build roads, to build some ghats for the pilgrims, to open shelter houses where they can distribute free food, to basically whatever is needed for a kingdom to flourish. They did not take anything for themselves, but they were using everything just for the benefit and the welfare of the citizens. And this is like, whatever the citizens could ever dream of. Everything was going on so nicely. And then one fine day, his father, Chandra's father, he calls him. He says, "Son, I am so proud of you. Because of you, because of your advice, because of your guidance. Now, where we were, maybe 10 years ago, and where we are now, we have come a long way. I think I have enough wealth now. But actually, a long time ago, I had taken some loan from the king of Kuntalapura because we are not doing so well. So now I think I have enough money, and we should repay the loan." So he said the loan, how it was taken is 50% I took from the king, 25% from the queen, and 25% remaining from the minister, Drishtabuddhi. So I want you to go and distribute the wealth so that we don't have this loan on our head anymore. I don't want to live in debt. We are doing very well. We are flourishing. So Chandra says, "Sure, Father, whatever you say, we'll get it done." So he arranges for a team of messengers, sends them with all the money, and they go and they distribute the wealth accordingly. So now Drishtabuddhi, he gets the money back, and he's like, "Oh, I never thought this king will ever give me anything. They were never doing, they were in such a poverty-stricken condition. How is the kingdom flourishing so well? What is happening there? I mean, this is really I need to check it out. What's happening there?" So after some time, he arranges for a visit. So he visits the king of Kulinga, and he just "How are you doing? What's happening? And we heard we got your money back, and it's so nice to see your kingdom is flourishing." So they're just having a nice chat, and finally Chandrahas comes in and says, "Drishtabuddhi, Mr. come here. You should meet my son, Chandrahas. He is the architect behind all this flourishing you're seeing here." And Drishtabuddhi is surprised. He knew that this king and queen, they had no kids. So he asked, "Your son? When did you have children?" So he said, "Oh, no, what happened? One day I was going on a hunting expedition, and I found this boy. He was crying all alone in the forest. He has lost his sixth toe, and then he was crying in pain. And Drishtabuddhi just couldn't take it. His head started to spin. He's like, "You mean?" And then he just was speechless, and he said, then he was able to connect the dots in his head that those dacoits had duped me. They just cut his sixth toe and bring it to me, and they left the boy alive. So, and then he is just trying to make sense of everything that was being told to him. And then he came to know that this is the boy now who has grown up, and now who is responsible for all the flourish, all the opulence that this kingdom is having. So I think now the Brahmana's prophecy is going to come true. Soon he'll also attack our kingdom, and he'll take everything that we have, and then I'll have to live on the streets, and my family will not have anything. I need to make sure that this boy is is killed. This cannot go on. But everything is going on in his mind. But when he's speaking with the king, he has to say sweet words. He cannot say what he had done with Chandranas before. So he just says, "Oh wow, king, you have such a noble heart. You took an orphan child and you raised him as your own, and now he's doing so much for your kingdom. Amazing, people should learn from your example," and stuff like that. He says some sweet words, and then the king says to him, "Why don't you stay in our kingdom for some time? I can show you around," and stuff like that. He said, "Sure," because he wanted some time to analyze and plan for his next plot. He has to do something. So he said, "Okay, I'll stay." So then as soon as he goes in his room, the whole night he's not able to sleep. He's this boy is still alive, and now he's here, and he's he's the prince. And he said, "I have to come with a plan, but it is very, very risky. I cannot kill this man in his own kingdom, right? Because it's very risky. Then somebody can blame me." I have to send him outside somewhere and make some arrangement. So he's very wicked. Like he can think of all the negative schemes and plots and everything. And then by the time it was morning, he was able to come up with a nice plan. So next morning he comes to see the king. He says he comes very hastily, like, Hari, hello, king, excuse me, actually thank you so much for your invitation. I would like to stay long, but I just remembered I have to give a very important message for my son. Before I left, I forgot to tell him something. Now I have to go, and if I don't give the message, our home and our family and our kingdom will be at a great loss. So the king is like, it can wait for a few days, right? So, no, I have to go. Then he says, then he thinks for some time. He says, okay, actually, this message is so confidential and so secret that only the most trustworthy person can only take the message on my behalf. So the king says, sure, I trust my son, like more than myself. I'll send my son and he'll take your message. You have no worries at all. So then he thinks, oh, now, it's working as per his plan. So this Drishta Buddhi, he writes a letter and he says, and he addresses it to his son, whose name is Madan. He writes, my dear son, do not look at this boy's wealth, knowledge, abilities, skills, and all the good qualities. Oh, just overlook all the good qualities and give poison to him immediately. He writes kind of this message in some code words. He kind of writes on the envelope and then he seals it and he sends this letter has to reach as it is to my son who is living in Kuntalapura. So Chandrahas is a very honest fellow. He'll never. He said, sure, whatever my father says, I'll do it. So now he takes the letter, he gets on his horse and he starts riding towards Kuntalapura. And then he's riding, and he's not knowing what's written in the letter. Actually, the minister is asking his son that the son should give poison to him. So then, he dies. But, okay, whatever my father has told, he's just going as a messenger. And then when he reaches the outskirts of Kuntalapura, he's very tired by the time. So he says, I'll take a short break. After this break, I will continue my journey. So then he gets down, he has some meal he has packed with him, he takes a bath, and then he kind of says, I'll rest for 10 minutes and then I'll go. So sometimes when you rest for some time and then he kind of ended up in a deep sleep. So he just fell asleep. He didn't know what's happening. So in the meantime, now from the other side, there is a group of girls who is coming because it's early evening time, and the group of girls is headed by the princess of that kingdom as well as Vishaya, who is the daughter of Drishta Buddhi. So the daughter of the minister and the princess and all the group of girls are coming to have some evening fun because that was one of their favorite spots where they used to go. So they have come for a nice fun time, and they are plucking flowers, they are making garlands, they are joking with each other. They are having a nice time. Finally, by the time they reach that lake, they feel very tired, and they feel maybe we should take a bath in the lake. We'll get refreshed. So they said, okay, let's all of us go. We'll take a bath in the lake. So all of them, they are having fun. They are splashing water on each other. They are having fun. And suddenly, this Vishaya, who is the daughter of Drishta Buddhi, her eyes fall on something in the a little bit far. She sees something and she kind of looks at it closely and she says, hey, she's surprised, somebody's sleeping there. And this is the most handsome boy that she has ever seen in her whole life. And she's looking, but she doesn't want to get caught staring by her friends. So then she kind of just plays with them and has fun. And once in a while she'll keep looking there, who is this boy and why is this? What? It's so attractive. She has never met such a handsome man before, and she had a desire that she wants to see this boy up close. She wants to go and check him out, who is he, what he's doing. But she did not want to let her friends know, right? You don't want to get caught doing such things. So she just all of a sudden she just asked everyone to let's go. It's getting dark and we have to pack up, we have to leave, and everybody's like, it's okay, we can still wait. And she said, no, we have to go. So okay, everybody gets ready and they start on their way back home. And this Vishaya, she slips out of the group of girls, and then she comes and she sits right in front of Chandrahas. She's looking at this boy and she's like, there's something deep within her heart, like it strikes a chord with her, and she just says, and she decides on the spot, if I'm ever going to marry someone, it's going to be this boy. This boy will become my husband. If not, then so she kind of vows over there. She has this determination that this man is going to become my husband, and she sits there and she keeps praying for help. God, please show me some way. How can this is such a beautiful young boy and such a so much cultured and well-mannered boy. Said, I want him to become my husband. So then she's praying, and then she opens her eyes and she sees that this man is carrying a letter in his waist belt. Looks like he's a messenger. So I need to. So she just says, let me see what letter is he carrying. So she just takes the letter from his waist belt and sees that this is by my father. This sent by my father, and this for my brother. I definitely will check it out, what's happening, So now she is the daughter of Drishtapati, right? So she's the daughter of the minister. So she has the guts. She opens the letter. She opens the letter and she says, do not look at this boy's good qualities and intelligence and wealth and opulence and everything. Give poison to him immediately. And she just gets shocked. What? My father wants to give poison? He's such an innocent boy and such a handsome boy. No. But anyway, she says she's not into politics. So she says, I don't understand politics. What I want is, I want this boy should become my husband. And once we get married, then my father should be fine, because now he'll be his son-in-law, so he'll lose all his enmity and everything. So let it be. So she gets a very tricky plan in her head. So her name is Vishaya, and in Sanskrit, wish, poison is written as wish. So what he had written is, give wish to this boy immediately. So what she does, she takes a mango sap and everything, and she just adds a ya. So it becomes Vishaya, and then she seals the envelope with the mango sap, and place it back again as if nobody had ever opened it, and then she just praying to God, may I not be caught, and may what is there in this envelope come true now. May I be given to him in wedding. So instead of wish, it becomes Vishaya. And then she goes back with a group of friends, and then all fine, and she's looking back, hoping that he's not gotten up and everything all good. And then she goes back to her palace, and she's sitting in a room upstairs and waiting patiently from the balcony. She's seeing everything now, what's going to happen, So now in the meantime, Chandrahas gets up. He's like, oh, what happened? Oh, I just thought I'm going to rest for 10 minutes, and it's going more than an hour or two. I need to get going, otherwise I will get late. So he packs up his belongings, gets on the horse, and starts riding. And then he reaches the house of the minister, Drishtapati. So now his son opens the door, So this person says, I have this letter, it's very urgent letter that is sent by your father. He's staying in our kingdom. He's he's on a tour, so he wanted to share something very urgently. So Madan is surprised. What urgent message can it be? My father is just gone for a few days. Everything is fine. But okay, he says, okay, okay, please come, have a seat, and he gives him water and everything, welcomes him. And then he sees, okay, it says my name, my father's signature is there, and it has seal, everything looks good. Okay, it looks all bona fide, everything looks good. So then he opens the seal, and then he reads the letter and says, do not look at any of the good, any of the qualities of this boy. Give Vishaya to him immediately. So he is surprised. What? My father wants to give our sister to him in marriage immediately? Is this true? Then he looks at the boy and he says, oh, I think this is so true. My sister can never find a better husband than him. He's such a well-mannered and he has such a good character, and he is so he can see all the good qualities in him. So he's still kind of confused, this is too much to handle. So he kind of goes, and then he consults with his astrologers, what do you think we should do? Can you check the charts and make sure it's a match, and what is the auspicious time for marriage, or what should be done? So in the meanwhile, he's pacing back and forth, he's thinking, what's happening, what if the boy doesn't like the girl, or what if the girl doesn't like the boy? Because he doesn't know anything what has happened. So, and then he's pacing back and forth, and then he just looks at Chandrahas. Chandrahas is, he's looking upstairs. And he's upstairs. So Vishaya has come out of the bedroom. So Vishaya is looking at Chandrahas. Chandrahas is looking at Vishaya. And they're both caught in each other's glance, oblivious to what's happening in the world around them. So this Madan feels, wow, now the boy also likes the girl also likes the boy. Let's not disturb them. Let me wait for the astrologers to come and tell me what is the best time for marriage. So the astrologers come and they say, actually, right now is the most auspicious time. According to all the charts and according to the calendar, this is the best time that you should get them married. So Madan is super excited, really? This is the time you should get them married? Okay, so then they start the marriage ceremony, So Vishaya is happy, Chandrahas is happy, and they both get married. And then Madan is so happy that he exhausts all his treasury in giving gifts to all the brahmanas and feeding all the brahmanas, and he's so happy we have found such a good husband. He's just giving and giving. So finally all this thing is going on here. In the meantime, Drishta Buddhi, who is there in the kingdom, he feels, I think by now Chandrahas would have been dead. My son would have given him poison and then he would have died. So now I should go back and see what's happening in my kingdom. So then he takes his leave and then he comes back. And then when he comes back, he's seeing all these festoons and flowers and garlands and all these auspicious signs outside his home. And he's all the brahmanas are coming out of his home with all the valuable gifts and everything. And he's thinking, what happened? So one of the brahmanas, while coming out, he said, good job, Drishta Buddhi, very good choice. You could never have found a better husband for your daughter. And Drishta Buddhi gets a shock. What? My daughter got married? To whom he got married, And then he's still trying to digest everything that's happening. and then he goes inside and then he sees everybody's taking all the gifts and everything, and then he sees Chandrahas sitting right there with his daughter on the wedding, they have those special chairs for marriage, and they're sitting there, they're taking photos and they're having a gala time. So he's saying, what happened? So he asks his son, Madan, what happened? Madan is so happy, father, I did exactly what you told me to do. See now our sister and our son-in-law, they are so happy. So his father is show me the letter, and he sees the letter. He's like, God made this probably no matter what I try, this boy somehow I cannot kill him. And he's just he should have lost his life, and now he's getting my daughter as his wife. He's just so frustrated. Anger is just boiling in him, and then he feels the prophecy is coming true. All my wealth is being emptied out. Everybody, all the brahmanas are taking all my wealth away as a dowry, for my daughter's marriage. Everything is being emptied out. This child is really going to, maybe beg on the streets one day. And then somehow this was the last thing that he could take, but he couldn't show it. So he was acting very nicely. He was blessing the couple. He said, all good words. And he was just waiting for the ceremonies to end. When will this end? And when will I get to go and think about how to get rid of this boy, basically. So everything is happening, and he's just his mind is not there in the ceremonies. He's just thinking of ways of what he can do. And finally he's he just excuses himself. He said, I need to go. He excuses himself. He goes to his quarters, and his anger is just boiling in his head. He's like, this is pani sir ke upar chala gaya. This is too much now. We cannot let this happen. This boy has to be killed at any cost. Even though he's my son-in-law now, I'm going to make this happen. And then he also knows that those dacoits had duped him, and so he says, I need to ask them again. This is not good what they did the last time. So this time he again approaches those dacoits and he says, I know what you guys did last time to me. You guys cheated me. You showed me his 6th toe and you said he's killed, but you did not kill him. So the dacoits became very conscious because they were caught now. This guy came to know what we did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So he said, actually, he was a very small boy, so we just let him go. So Vishnu is very angry now. He says, this time you have to follow my plan and kill the boy. No excuses, no nothing. And they kind of say, yes. Now he's not a small boy anymore. He's 15, 20 years old. We don't mind, we'll do whatever you say now. So now he again comes up with an evil plan. So he says, this tomorrow evening, I'll make this Chandrahas come to this Ambika temple in the forest. So you, you guys should wait inside the temple with all your weapons and everything. And as soon as you see a man enter the temple, you just make sure that you attack him and kill him. And it will be around 6 o'clock, and I'll make sure that he's there. I said, okay, whatever you say will be done, So they all arm up, gear up, and they go towards the Ambika temple in the forest, and they're waiting for this man to come in the evening. So now in the meantime, this Drishtabuddhi, he's showing that he's very happy and he's very so next day when his daughter and son-in-law, when they came to seek his blessings, because you seek blessings from your parents. So he took Chandras on the side and he said, son, come here, in our family, we have a very important tradition. The husband should go alone to the Ambika temple, and he should offer some offerings, and he should seek blessings from Lord Ambika, so that your marriage will be successful for a long time. This is the tradition in our family, and you should follow it. So Chandra said, oh sure, where is the temple, and what time you want me to go? I'll be there. So he says to him, this is how you can reach the temple, and this is all you have to take with you, all the paraphernalia, for the puja and arti and everything, and you go there, and then everything will be auspicious. So Chandra, he's a simple, he's a devotee. He's not seeing who is duplicitous, who is not duplicitous. He's just okay, whatever you tell me, I'll follow. So he's getting ready with these things. So now in the meanwhile, the king of Kuntalapura, he has not been doing well since a long time. His health has not been improving. And suddenly, all of a sudden, there are some ill omens around him. So everybody felt that he can die at any time. And he's looking for and he has not yet planned for a successor. Who will rule my kingdom after me? Because this all of a sudden he is since some time he has not been doing well, and all of a sudden they say that he might not be living for long. So he has not planned for any successors. Who will rule the kingdom after me? So then he calls for a meeting of all his ministers, and he wants their advice. I can leave my body at any time, and we have to appoint a successor. But he does not invite Drishtabuddhi, because he still feels that Drishtabuddhi has not yet come back from the other kingdom. So instead he called his son Madana and all other ministers. Everybody came, and the king says this is it. I might leave this world at any time. We need to appoint my successor. And everybody says it's not, it's a trivial question. Everybody unanimously said, this boy that Drishtabuddhi's daughter has married, he is the most qualified, most intelligent, most beautiful, and all the auspicious qualities he has. He is the right person who can succeed you. And so everybody is unanimously saying this so many nice things about this boy. So the king calls for him, I want to meet Chandra. So he asks Madan, because now he is the brother-in-law. He says, go to your home and bring your brother-in-law. I want to meet him, and I want to talk to him. So Madan is also super excited. Oh my God, my brother-in-law is going to become the next king, and it's such auspicious news. What is happening? So he just rushes, and he goes to his home, and he's about to call Chandrahas and says, hey, you have been called by the king. And Chandrahas is actually getting ready to leave for the Ambika temple, because he has to go at 6 o'clock. He has to be there for the offering. So he's almost on his way out, and Madan stops and says, no, you cannot go now. This is a national emergency. This is an emergency. You have to meet the king. You will be appointed as the next successor. This is very, very important. You cannot go. He said, no, but our father has told, if I don't go, then our marriage will not be, there might be some obstacles in our marriage. So then he says, Madan says, are you mad? My father, he keeps telling so many things, So I'll take this plate from your hand, and I'll go and I'll do your worship on your behalf. You just go and meet the king. This is so important, So again, Chandra said, okay, here is the plate. At 6 o'clock you have to be there, and you go. And then so Madan is on his way to the Ambika temple, and this Chandrahas, he's on his way to meet the king. So Chandrahas goes, and he's welcomed, the king talks to him, everything is fine, and they actually coronate him as the prince regent, that he'll be the successor. And they made him ride on an elephant, and they send him back home, this is the royal elephant, this will take you back home now. So around 6-7 o'clock, he's riding an elephant, he's coming back home. And Drishtabuddhi is saying, this again Chandrahas is he's still not gone to the Ambika temple. What is he doing here? Why is he riding an elephant? I had asked him to go, right? So Chandra's, as soon as he comes and at the front of the house, he tells Drishta Buddhi that actually what happened, this was an emergency, so your son Madan asked me to go and meet the king, and I am coronated as the successor, and I came in a royal elephant. And then Drishta Buddhi was like, so where is Madan? So Madan said that he'll do the offering on my behalf. And Drishta Buddhi just lost his mind there. So he feared the worst. He's like, oh my goodness, are you kidding? He just left everything and he just ran. He ran towards the Ambika temple because he's like, and everybody's, what happened? I've been coronated as a king and this and that, and this father-in-law, he just left everything and just ran towards the Ambika temple. And when he went there inside, he opened the door and he saw what he never wished to see. The dacoits did their job very well. And then this Drishta Buddhi is he's so much in pain, crying, he beat his head on the walls of the pillars, and he also left his life over there. And because he's not able to live any further, his son is dead, so what he can do? So finally the head priest of the temple comes in, and he says, what's happening here? This kind of bloodshed here, what's happened? So then he passed the message back, and then everybody came on the scene just to see, and nobody had any clue or idea of why and how things had happened. So anyways, Chandras, he was a pure devotee of the Lord. So he sat in front of the Ambika deity. He made sincere prayers. He prayed to her. He prayed to Lord Krishna. And finally, by Mother Ambika's blessings, she revived both of them back to life. And then, they get new life. And now, Drishta Buddhi, when he wakes up, and then he looks around, the first time he has had this transformative experience, first time he's getting some good thoughts. And he actually falls at the feet of Chandras and said, thank you so much, if it was not for you, I had almost lost my son now. And so many times I tried to hurt you. So the whole thing is, in a very complicated way, he understood a very simple fact in his life that if Krishna wants to kill you, nobody can save you. And if Krishna wants to save you, nobody can kill you. No matter what things happen around you, nothing can hurt you. It said, not a single blade of grass can move without a sanction of the Lord. So the whole purport, the whole lesson of the story is that sometimes as human beings, we are just like spectators. We are just in this drama of destiny that is happening all around us. And we just have to, let it happen without being affected by the successes and the failures, the heat and the cold, the pleasure and the pain. And whatever comes in life, we have to learn how to accept it as it comes, and how to make progress in spiritual life, how to make progress on the yoga ladder, whether we are karma yogi, jnana yogi or bhakti yogi, how to make sure that deep inside us, that we are rooted in our consciousness, that we are not shaken by whatever things happen around us. And one more point which Prabhuji brings out at the end of the book is that he says that the success and failures, they are like the two sides of the same coin. So the failures test your determination, what is your determination, how often you can, how hard you can try, because you keep failing, and at some point you feel like giving up, right? But the failures will test your determination, and success will test your substance. So it's not that when success comes, everything is over. Success comes, it will test what is your character, what is your substance, how much success you can hold without becoming corrupt or without becoming evil-minded. So this success and failures are two sides of the same coin. One will test your determination and one will test your substance. So these are some of the key lessons which were brought out in this very nice pastime. 3 times blessed. So why 3 times blessed? Because 3 times this minister, Drishta Buddhi, he had plotted against Chandrahas, and all these 3 times he emerged victorious, and it actually ended up being a blessing for him. When he was lost in the forest, he found his foster parents who took such good care of him. When he was sent and when he was about to be given poison, he found his life partner, he found his wife. And the 3rd time when he was supposed to go and be killed in the Ambika temple, he became the successor king of the kingdom. So whatever negative was about to happen to him, it all by the Lord's will and desire, it turned into positive for him. So I think this inspiring story makes us follow in the footsteps of such great devotees, and also we can really have a lot of respect in our hearts for all of them. And so all glories to Chandrahas, all glories to all the devotees of the Lord, and all glories to our Lord who has such devotees. It's not easy to have people of such character and caliber. So all glories to our Lord who has such wonderful devotees, and hope we can follow in their footsteps and make advancement on this path. So if anybody has any questions, we have 5 minutes. I can take.
So what I'm learning from this lesson that failure, he was failure, like cut the toe and he wanted to kill, right? And Dacoit only cut the toes and told him that he died, but actually he was not dead. So for our lesson, we should give up sometime, not to have a determination for a wrong thing. Sometimes we are doing small thing in our life, but it's wrong. So we should not go after it. We should, that's it, I'm not going to do now anymore,
That's a good one. Sure,
because at point you have to decide that I am doing wrong thing. This action mine is going to lead something bad reaction. So at that time we should stop it even. We should not have a determination to go further. Because he tried 3 times, right? This story reminds me about Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad. He is like Hiranyakashipu, right? He just wanted to kill him no matter what. But Krishna had a desire not to die, he wanted not to kill him.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Thank you. It's perfect.
Yeah. So I feel like that we should give up at some point.
We should have a transformation of the heart. Instead of being hard-hearted and determined, we should have soft heart at some point. Because if you want to make advancement in spiritual life, your heart has to become soft.
Right.
You cannot. We have to become soft.
Soft. Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice points. Anybody else has any comments or questions or anything? I think many of you have come for the first time from out of town, so I really appreciate you coming. Roji, we can end?
Yeah, I have one question.
Oh, sure, Roji.
I just wanted to learn.
Sure.
So you mentioned success and determination, right? When we, of course, in Karma Yoga, success means your job, your family, everything. But when you dovetail that to Krishna consciousness, Krishna in the center, what does success really mean to a devotee, right? And also, when that success is achieved, of course, humility has to be there, so we can take the humble position and take the humble position towards the lotus feet of the Lord. And whenever there is glorification, how do you act so that your humility doesn't get disturbed? So the 2 things, there is anything that you can shed some light.
Sure. So like each one of us, we have come with our own karma, right? So whatever is in our destiny, we should not be afraid to take it. If it is in our destiny, if it comes to us, that's what the Lord says in the Gita. If things come to you on their own accord, then you should not run away from them, because if it's a part of your karma, then you should take it. And that will naturally make you humble. But as it is said in the Ishopanishad, that one should only take whatever is allocated as per one's quota. And then as soon as you feel that you are becoming proud by doing something or something, that means probably you are going beyond your quota. This is not supposed to be in your destiny, but it's like, you are taking some credit and you are just shopping, but you don't have anything to pay it back. So it eventually, it's not in your quota as such. So if it is within your quota, then in your mind you'll be able to rationalize, adjust, and be humble at the same time. But if you're not able to rationalize, or if you're not able to stay humble, or if you're feeling that you're having some, if you're having some false pride, then maybe you should probably not accept it or not take it or something. And whatever naturally makes you stay humble, you should accept, but you should not at the same time give up those things or let go if it's meant to come to you by destiny. Because we all have come here with some past history, right? We all have some karma, and it's meant to fructify someday. So just make sure that we take only that is allocated, and then we'll naturally remain humble. We'll not feel proud, I think. So.
Thank you. So one other thing, maybe if I ask so when we when we, like in Hiranyakashipu's case, he's a successful king, and he wants to be successful also, and he tried many times to kill Prahlad Maharaj, many times, right? So, but at what point will you know this is whatever action that we are doing is not the will of the Lord? You know, it's like we keep trying, right? Even if we want to become this, we want to become that, and even in devotional service, so I want to serve the Lord in this moment, but there is always resistance, right? Sometimes. So at what point will we come to a situation where this is not Krishna's plan? It's so we have to surrender to him rather than pushing forward our activity or karma.
Sure. One thing I can shed some light is, in the case of Hiranyakashipu, unfortunately he was a demon, so there was no one who would guide him. There was no one who could who could say anything to him, because he's the king, he's a demon, So you cannot say anything to you. He was just surrounded by yes men, everybody who just says yes to him. Nobody could offer him any advice. But that's unfortunate, because he was a demon. But if we are devotees, if we want to apply it in our own life, then for sure the Lord will send somebody. There have to be checks and balances. We cannot say everything is the desire of the Lord and just do whatever we feel like doing. There has to be checks and balances, and as the Lord says, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, if we can consult these three things, express our desire, and then we can move forward. Then by their blessings, even if some obstacles are going to come, then we can know for sure, we have the blessings, we can take the call, and we can take the chance. But if it's on our own accord, we're not consulting anybody, I don't care for anybody in the world, my way or highway, I'm the one who's leading, then you'll just be surrounded by yes men, and then you'll just go and end up like Hiranyakashipu. But because we are devotees, we have to have those. That's why we have a community. We have checks and balances. We can balance each other out, and try to make steady progress. That's all.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Very relevant class. This is Damodar Priya Prabhu ki.